Hi, you guys. This is going to be an exciting day for us because we are going to paint Derpy the Tiger from K-Pop Demon Hunters. Oh my goodness. You are here probably because you're just as obsessed as all the others, and I've created this for all the fans, so I hope you love it. I really hope you have our paint kit, because if you do, you're going to have the surface prepped for you. You're going to have all the paint colors that I'm going to use and the same size brushes. So hopefully you have that. If you don't, you can get it on our website. Just click the link below in the description. But if you don't have those things, freehand yourself a Derpy Tiger and get some paints and let's have a good time together, okay? Let's go over our supplies real quick. Let's show you the brushes that I'm going to use and the sizes. Like I said, you'll have these exact same sizes in the paint kit if you ordered it online. What we have is a number 12 flat, a number 6 round, and a number 2 detail. Okay, those are the brushes I'm going to use. And let's look at my paint palette. I have the primary colors, which is really fun for you because that means you can change the background and some details to whatever you would like, okay? Because our primary colors will make our secondary colors. So we basically have everything we could possibly need today. What I want you to pay most close attention to are my white paints. I've separated them into 3 piles. This way I don't contaminate fresh white every time I go to make another color or lighten a shade or do a highlight. I'll always have some white I can kind of refer back to. And so that's why I've separated my white, okay? I also have a couple of jars of water. I like to have 2. One's for washing, one is to keep clean for highlighting and diluting paint. And I like to use a glass jar or something a little heavier than foam or plastic, so when I wash my brush, it most likely isn't going to tip on me, okay? And then a paper towel or a rag of some kind for you to wash your brush off with, okay? And that's it. We can jump right in here and get busy on this painting. Let's go ahead and start with our fun background. I'm going to grab my number 12, get it wet because of course our paint needs water, and I'm going to make a beautiful pink color here by mixing some white and red together. Pretty easy to make pink here. And this can be as light or dark as you want. And like I said, you have the primary colors, so you can do a purple background, you can do a green background, whatever your heart desires. Okay, so let's just paint around our tiger here. We're gonna do our best to stay outside and not paint inside of our tiger, but of course, accidents happen, so be kind and patient with yourself as well. In these little trickier parts, you can go to the toe of your brush and just do the very best that you can. Don't worry too much about clean edges and things like that, because we are going to do some outlining and cleanup work. So right now, just get the basic background on your canvas or your surface, whatever it is for you. Mine's a mixed media paper is what I'm using to teach this painting on. If you have our paint kit, you have a canvas. That's what we originally painted this on. And I love a good canvas painting. With your canvas, you're going to have those edges that I don't have on the paper. That means we want to wrap them. Let me show you what that means when I say wrap. Here's the original piece. The edges of my canvas are painted too. So whenever I say wrap that around, I want you to take that color that you're painting on the front and pull it over the edge, okay? And what this does is it gives us a nice finished piece. So we can hang it up on a wall, we can put it on a shelf, and it's completed and it doesn't have this white edge kind of glaring back at us. Okay, we're gonna go around our bird as best we can here. This guy has a name too, forgive me, but I do not remember. I should have looked that up before I started. Usually I do that, but I forgot. So you guys are going to have to leave all that information in the comments for me. Now, just a heads up, I might paint a little faster than you. A big reason for this is I'm surrounded by all these lights, and the lights dry my paint really fast. And so I have to go a little bit quickly so that I can get my blends in and all that kind of thing, because you can't really blend your paint once it's dry. So if you are experiencing some panic as I paint, thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot paint that quickly, you know what? That's one of the really good things about technology is you can pause this video. So you do not have to paint at my pace. You can pause it, you can rewind it, and go at your own pace. So no stress. No stress at all. This should be enjoyable for you. If you're not having a good time, maybe take a break, maybe step away for a minute. We all have had to do that at some point, trust me. Okay. This painting has a lot of shapes in it. This tiger is very detailed in all of its different shapes and lines. And so you might feel some of this work is kind of tedious. We're going around a lot of things, painting in a lot of things, filling in a lot of things, but it's going to come together. So just stick with it and you will be impressed with the finished product. Also, don't put too high of expectation on yourself. This tends to happen anytime we paint characters that are beloved. This tiger is one, I think, that we're going to struggle with, just allowing ourselves to do the best we can and not have too high of expectation, because this is hand painted, guys, and it's going to look hand painted as it should. Okay, it's not a print. So make sure you're having a good time. Make sure you're allowing yourself to make some mistakes, and we can just work through all of it together. Okay. Even I will make some mistakes along the way. It's just part of the process. Okay, so our background is in. I love the pink. I want to add some white, sort of like a halo around our tiger here. So I'm going to put white on my, or pink on my brush and a chunk of white, okay? And I'm going to take that white edge and kind of just go around, okay? And create sort of just like a halo, just some white. Why do we do this? Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, it really turns the eye onto the subject. So the subject of this painting is our tiger. And so by putting this light around our tiger, that's where all the viewers' eyes are going to go. They're going to go to this tiger and this light that surrounds it. The other thing it does is it breaks up our background. So our background isn't super flat, which is really the main reason why I like to do it. I don't like a really flat background. You can make the white really chunky and really noticeable, or it can just be super faint and barely there. It really depends on how much paint you're putting on your brush, how much blend you're doing, all those kinds of things really are going to determine that. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. In fact, you can opt out of this step altogether. If you don't like the way it looks, you don't have to do it. It is a really fun way to kind of start learning how to blend paint, because what you're doing is you're blending white into pink, creating kind of this hazy look. And a lot of times we call it floating, because you're floating two shades or two colors into each other. and it kind of has that floating look to it. Around the kitty's jaw. Anytime you think it's getting out of control or you're losing, you can reload your brush. But really, there's no right or wrong way here. You just got to keep kind of messing with it until it really speaks to you and you're like, that's it. That's what I wanted. Sometimes you got to keep moving your brush too. I find that a lot of times with new artists, we kind of expect our paintbrush to do what it needs to do on the first stroke, and it doesn't, and then that's frustrating. The truth is you got to go over these things over and over again, actually, before you kind of get the look you're going for. Okay, that's fun. That's our first step, and it's looking awesome. We're going to work with the pink still since we have it already and it's nice and fresh on our palette. I'm going to switch over to my number 6 round, and we're going to paint the inside of our tiger's ear. Just this nice little triangle shape here. Just like that. We'll do both little ears. Just create that line right there. Perfect. And of course, the other thing that's pink is our cute little heart nose. So we'll fill that guy in too. It's fun to watch our paintings slowly come together. All these little pieces, like putting a puzzle together, it starts to kind of form our painting. Before we move on, let's add a little shadow in our ears. I'm just going to take my brush that has pink on it and put a little red, just a touch of red. And I'm going to take that red corner and go around my ear just like that. Nothing crazy. You can do this. It's almost like you're outlining, but it still has that blending, floating kind of idea to it, where you're mixing two colors into each other. Okay. Let's go back and make this one a little redder to match our friend on the other side. Cute. And we'll do the same thing on our little nose. You might be feeling the speed about now, and you might be thinking, oh, it's too fast. So I totally understand. Make sure you're pausing this video for all those moments. If I were teaching in person, we would definitely be going slower than this, so it's totally fine. Okay, look at this. We've got our pinks in, and it looks absolutely fantastic. We've got all my paint dripping everywhere too. It's getting crazy in here. I'm gonna wash my round brush out really good. Wipe it off. And real quick before I go into some of my other areas, I think I'll go ahead and put the tongue in because it's in the pink family too. We just want to make it a darker pink. So I'm just going to come in here darken that up a little. Okay, what I want you to do is just like a rainbow. Just put a rainbow in and carefully go around our teeth. If we can help it, we're not going to paint our teeth white because our canvas is white. And that'll just be a nice step to avoid doing if we can help it. So unless, oh, told you Miss Cami was going to make a mistake, just as I'm saying, if we can help it, and then look right in there. So we'll have to paint that tooth. It's fine. It's totally fine. We're not going to stress about it. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush really good because we're going to go into the blues and we don't want to make purple. We don't want red and blue make purple, right? So let's go ahead and start with our lightest shade of blue. Okay. That's going to be our blue that's barely blue. So I'm going to use a lot of white and just the teeniest bit of blue. And there we go. I was going to say it's proving to be difficult, but I got it in my little spot. You can always find a spot to mix some paint. Okay, and this is going to be our tummy and our paws. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my number 6 round for this, but you can certainly use a flat brush for sure. This is super light, super light. You might not even see it on the camera. That's how light it is. Almost white. And paint in these little hairs. And don't worry too much about perfection here because we have a lot of outlining to do and all of that's going to happen and it's going to clean up these areas. So don't worry too much about all that. Especially like, oh, I can see pencil mark, and don't even worry about it. We have a lot to do, guys. I'm going to do a shadow at the base of the tummy, and I'm going to do that same way I did the ears. I'm going to come over here in this sort of lightened blue, but not too light. Put a corner on there, and then I'm going to put a shadow right in the belly, just like that, okay? Really easy, nothing crazy, and that's going to make a fun difference, okay? And let's do our paws with this light blue too. 3 bumps. Make sure you wrap those paws around like the bottom of the canvas. Really complete it. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to take that light blue and we're going to darken it a shade. Okay. So add in some blue in there. Don't want it too dark though. But this is our next shade up. So with every shade, we're going a little bit darker and a little bit darker and a little bit darker. So this color are the stripes. These are the stripes, the eye patches, and this second ear section here. So we get in there. Again, best we can, right? This is just the best we can. It's not going to be perfect, but we're just doing the best we can, and we're having a good time doing it. Which is so important when creating. If we don't have a good time, we're not going to come and do it again, right? So we want to make sure we're having fun. Okay, let's do our eye patches. Lovely. I need to add some water to my paint. I can tell it's getting thick. Anytime you feel like your brush stroke is breaking or it's not fully going on your surface smooth, it just needs some water. So just take a minute and add some water to it. You shouldn't have to fight the canvas or any surface that you're using. Your paint should go on nice and smooth. If it's not, check your water and dilute your paint. All right, there's one. I'll get the other one here. This will come together pretty quickly. It's a lot of just filling space in at first, and then we'll start to see the fruits of our labor towards the detail work at the end. I like to do all this patchwork first, because then if I go out of the lines too much or make a mistake, I know that I'm coming through with a darker blue and it can clean it all up. So that's why I like to do it in this order. Okay, now we've got our little stripes. And this is where that whole idea of cleaning up with our darker blue is going to come in. Because as you can see, it's kind of tricky to stay in the lines with this. But I know I'm going to come through with my darker blue and I can just clean that up because they're all just blues. So it's not going to make a problem for me. It's not going to be difficult. And I also know that there's going to be black lines going in and all this other stuff. And so, yeah, we can just have a good time and not stress too much about precisely being in the lines. Okay, we have a couple on our cute tail here. Just like this. Okay, you can go through if you see any spots that might need a little extra layer, but you should be pretty good. This blue is pretty solid. Pretty solid in its coverage. Okay, let's darken it even more. And this time we want to make sure we have a good batch of darkened blue so we can paint our whole tiger and not have to recreate this color. So mixing quite a bit, trying to stay out of the yellow. It is an adventure all on its own to find places on your palette, right? Okay, I think that should be enough. And I think that's a nice dark blue. You want the blues to contrast each other. So you don't want to start painting and think, oh, these blues are really close to the same color. You want them to be an obvious, like that's a darker shade for sure. I'm going to use my number 6 just to do the ears. And then I'm going to switch to my flat, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to come up on my ears. Just like so. Because I just don't want to try and paint that shape with my flat brush. You could, but it would just be maybe a little bit more of a headache to try and get in this little area with a flat brush. There we go. Trying to just get a clean line here because this particular part won't be outlined. The rest of the ear will, But separating those colors, I just want to make sure I have a nice separation. So I think from this point, I'm going to jump over to my flat. I might go back to my detail, or my number 6, sorry, if I feel like I'm getting into spaces that are a little tricky for me. But for now, I'm going to get my flat brush because it's going to save me some time filling in this cute tiger. Got some fuzz or something on there. Okay, so here we go. Start filling in. I like to, you know, kind of have the areas where I can go quicker with my brush. And then when I need to slow down and flatten my bristles to get a nice clean edge, I do that. Nice. And there's so many details, you guys. This, like I said, this tiger has so many details. So, you know, there's might be spots that you're like, oh, I want that to look different. Don't be too critical until you see the final product, because there's a good chance you won't even notice the little things that are bugging you when you're done, because there's just so much. The eyebrows and the lines and the stripes and the dots, and we've got cheetah print on our belly. With so many things happening. So just write it out and see how you feel towards the end. Just going up around these eye patches. It's a little tricky. Be sure to flip your canvas around if you need to. You don't have to paint straight up and down like me. I do because I'm hooked up on all this equipment and lights and camera, but you certainly can move yours around any way you want. I'm gonna try and do as much as I can without switching my brush, but I'm not gonna like overcomplicate it. If there are areas that I'm just not comfortable with this big brush, then I'm going to switch to my little one. Switch over to my number 6 round. And you can do that. You can just paint all the areas that you feel confident and comfortable painting with this bigger brush, and then say, okay, that's all I can do. Now I want to switch and go to your other one. The only brush I would strongly suggest you not use is your detail brush, because you don't want to give that detail brush a bad hair day by using it with bigger areas to fill. And then what'll happen is it doesn't have those nice little bristles for your teeny tiny detail work. And then that can be kind of frustrating. So we like to keep it as nice as we can. But you can see I can do quite a bit here with this particular brush. And I'm going to just, yeah, keep going, doing as much as I can with it. And here's where we can do some cleanup work. Also remembering that we've got lines coming. Go ahead and do the legs with this bigger brush too. Lots of tedious filling in. But again, it will all pay off as we start working on our details. Okay, maybe I'll even get this little section right here with this bigger brush. Paint is getting a little dry on me, so it's a good thing that I'm about to switch my brushes. Okay, so I'm gonna call it good with that size brush, and I'm gonna bounce back to my number 6 round and finish filling all this in. So it just had some water in it, so I'm going to mix that water into my paint, loosen my paint up, and let's get to work here and really finish this up. Going carefully around our eye patches, getting all those little details in. And let me tell you, this tiger is not boring. That's for sure. Anything but boring over here. Get around our little heart. Our eyes come to a nice point. Got our cute little heart nose. Paint around this as best you can. We'll go through there with a detail brush. Clean it up. It's always time for cleanup work. That's for sure. And we have definitely got some to do. I love the big toothy grin here. Super fun. It's nice chubby cheeks. Just all the fun details here. And you can start to see as we're doing this, all of these little lines make sense. And you can start to see it come together, which is a lot of fun. All right, we're almost done filling our tiger in. And then we can really get going to some details. And the eyes, I love to do the eyes. The eyes really bring everything to life. Painting around all of our stripes. This movie really hit home for a lot of people. Just been so fun. When I was creating this, I just listened to the music nonstop. Of course, my kids have been listening to the music nonstop too, so there was that, but I could not get any of it out of my head while I was creating this piece. I'm surprised I'm not singing right now. Maybe you guys are. Maybe you have the soundtrack going, which I would not be opposed to at all while painting this. Okay, come up on this side. It's a little trickier for me to paint from this angle, but we're getting it. getting it all in there. Lots and lots of blues. Lots and lots of different shades of blue happening here. And just give these paws a rough little shape here, because we're going to go back and clean those up with when we outline with the black. Those paws will really form a lot better. Right now it's just a little tricky to see what's happening with them. And then of course our cute little tail. Now the tail is going to wrap around your canvas, so make sure you take the time to do that as well. Okay, guys. Whew! I feel like I could use a really good stretch about now. Oh, Miss Cammie almost forgot this side. This side of the mouth. I forgot. It's just hanging over here all by itself. There we go. We did it. We did it. If there's any areas you want to add a little more paint, you can. Like I said, we're going to add a lot of details and it'll just kind of all come together. So I'm going to jump back over to my flat and I'm going to add kind of a shadow up on the head and the chin and the legs. Really, really easy stuff. We're not going to do a ton of shadowing because it's just too complicated in this painting with all the design of the tiger. So I'm going to take my flat brush and I'm just going to get it into some of the main blue color and then dip the corner of it in my darkest original blue. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to go shadow all across the forehead here. So we're going to take this up and around under the bird. Just gonna have to call it Bird since I can't remember this poor guy's name. Okay, just reloading because I want to take it down here like that. Okay, so this is just a nice little shadow here that just adds, even though we're not shadowing everything and we're not creating it everywhere, we're doing little bits and pieces to sort of give it that next level. So depending on the age of my artist here today, you need to decide what of those shadows you want to do and what of them you don't, or if any, because depending on your age, that could be really complicated and sort of take away from the experience for you. So you don't have to do them. You can skip this step if you want to, but my artists that are feeling a little daring and want to add a lot of character, you can do this. Now we're going to go just down the base of the chin here. Just kind of a smiley face is really the shape you're going for. And again, these really small touches, they kind of make a big difference in the end. And so we like to add those where we can. Okay, loading again. We're going to go on these cute little knees. Okay, we'll do the other one. Like that. You can already see like it really is adding some fun things here. The tail, I'm just going to do the base of the tail just like that. Okay, and then in here it's getting a little tricky to see, but we've got our little belly right here, and then it goes down where our little legs are, or our arms. Okay, so we're going to shape that in. Just like that. And we'll come through and our paws are going to have a place. Don't worry. Right now, this is what we're going to do. Okay. Oh, I do feel like I need to stretch out. Okay, I'm going to wash my number 6 brush out really good. We're going to work on these eyes a little bit. I'm going to get some yellow and white together. Mix those two up. Really make sure I don't have any blue in my brush. Otherwise I'm going to have green eyes. We want yellow. So make a nice light yellow here. And I'm going to take this and fill this eye in. And the circle in the center is black, so that gives you freedom to make a mistake and go into that eye without consequence. I'm going to take full advantage of that because I want to make sure that the yellow goes all the way up into the corners there. Okay. Let's do the other one. Like this. Just like so. Perfect. Okay, let's make a little bit of orange. We're going to get a touch of red over here and some yellow. We're going to make some orange. Just like that. And we are going to blend in some orange at the base of our eye. So load with that yellow and then get some of that orange on the corner here and just blend it in. Just on the base there of our eye. My brush has a little too much water, so I'm going to dry it off. And start again, which is no big deal, guys. If you need to go over things more than once, you can totally do that. Okay. Let's do the other side here. And of course, these eyes will have a nice outline to clean them up as well. So don't need to worry too much about that either. Something in my paint. There we go. Okay. Got a little, okay, we're struggling with our orange here. It's getting out of control. Kind of got to bring that orange back down here. Yellow likes everything to shine except for itself. So anything blending into yellow is really strong usually. Okay, let's do some black. I'm going to stick with my round brush, come into my black paint, and I am going to start with my little tail here. And this, guys, you guessed it, wraps around your canvas. So make sure you give that a nice wrap. Right there. And let's go ahead and paint in those eyes while we're up here. They can start drying so we can add the details to them. Be patient with yourself when it comes to circles because they do grow. I speak from experience. Circles grow because we think, oh, I need it to be better. I need it to be better. And then before we know it, we have the biggest circle ever. But this tiger has some cute big eyes here that we really want to show off. And we'll give them all the thick eyeliner and all that fun stuff too. All that fun stuff. Okay. This is always when I need to remind myself, hand painted, hand painted. Because with circles, I can't stand it not being in good circle. But it's just gonna keep growing on me. But I do want this one to be a little more round. So there we go. Ooh, I love when the eyes go in and you start to see it all. Okay, let's hop over to our detail brush and paint in the mouth, okay? This is all black. And I'm gonna use my detail, which typically I would try to avoid, but I've got all these teeth I'm gonna be going around, so might as well just use this detail brush. I'm just dipping my brush in water and mixing water into my paint. And I'm doing that over and over again so that I loosen up my paint. And that's going to help me fill in the space easier. It's going to help me do some lines, which we're going to do. And so I just want to make sure my paint is nice and loose. Okay. So once you have that nice loose paint, we're just going to start filling in this fun smile. Even though you're using your detail brush, be nice and gentle with it. Go right over those teeth right there. Be nice and gentle with it so you don't give it a bad hair day, because that can still happen. But it's the best way to get around these teeth. We're gonna do a fun little like dimple right here, just like that. And this tooth we're gonna outline like that. Okay, so that, and then we're just gonna keep going. This line comes across and up like that. Then we're gonna get around our cute toothy grin. Again, we're not painting our teeth unless we have to. And obviously there's a little bit I need to clean up, but we can avoid painting all these little teeth, trust me. It is tedious work. I've done it a few times. So we're gonna try to avoid it. So just nice and easy. Go around our cute little tongue. This mouth, once it's in, really starts to pull this painting together. One thing about painting with a detail brush is you've got a lot of brush stroke marks, so kind of have to continue to clean that up. Try and smooth it out a little. So that's why it's usually not the best to use a detail brush to fill things in, but this is a hard little section and we're going to give ourselves a little break here. We're going to use it. You can already see it's really pulling our painting together. Let's finish the base here of this mouth. Curve that up like that. Cute. Oh, must have had some paint on my palm. Oh well, we'll have to fix that too. Have all these things I gotta fix now. But that's part of it, guys. There we go. We've got lots of lines coming up, so this is a good practice for the rest of our painting here. Got to do another dimple on this side here, so finish this out and then little dimple. There we go. That dimple was getting away from me. And then we'll do this little, outline this tooth as well. I just like to outline the top of it, kind of clean it up just like that. Get some water on my brush. I can feel my paint just kind of getting tighter and tighter on me. There we go. Cute, cute. Okay. Oh, let's stretch it out. Do a little line around our heart here. Really just connect it with that nose. Okay. Gotta do a little cleanup work real quick. I'm gonna grab my number 6. I got some background issues here. Just tap in some pink here. Let it start drying. Remember, we can fix just about anything. And then we've got some right here. And while I'm fixing things, I'm going to fix my tooth that got a little red in it from my tongue. All right, see there? I told you I would be making mistakes too. So we're in this together, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and start doing our outlines because we can do that and then we can do some fun details and finish up our bird. But since we're working outlines with our little brush right now, it just makes sense to just dive right in. So I'm going to take another minute and add water to my paint, my black paint. Loosen it up again. I want it nice and loose. I've got lots and lots of lines to do. While we're doing this, just do your best to follow along. Pause if you need to, regroup if you need to. There's no shame, no harm in that. And just do the best you can. Okay, these aren't going to be perfect. We're going to have some struggles here and there because this is hard work. But with characters especially, lines are so important. And this character specifically naturally has a lot of line work, okay? So let's just do the best we can. So let's start at the top with our ears. And we're just going to give it a nice outline. Now, if your paint is thin enough, you should be able to do these without much breaking of your stroke, meaning you can go along something without your brush stroke stopping, okay? If you can't do that, add some water to your brush. We're gonna go along the forehead here. And anytime we need to, we'll lift up and start again. Because it's totally fine to need to do that. Right here, I'm just going to clean this up with a little bit of water here. Maybe some blue. That particular line started too deep in for me. Okay, back we go. Okay, and add character as you go. You can peek in and out of with your brush stroke. More pressure means a thicker stroke. So if you push hard, you're going to get a thicker stroke. Lighter pressure will result in a thinner brush stroke. If I'm going too fast for you, pause the video. Even our stripes are outlined. So this guy's not lacking in outlining, that's for sure. That is for sure. This leg. But you can see how these lines really start to create our character, right? Oh, got some blue on there. And that's what we're really trying to do, is create our fun little character. Okay. Got our little paws. All of our details going in. Just like so. And then our belly. Oh, it's coming along. Coming along. Okay, now we're coming up into our face, and this is where our details are going to get even more intense. Okay, got some more black, guys. I'm not doing good with my black today. Keep getting my palm in it, so we keep having to fix stuff. So it happens sometimes when you can't move your canvas around, but that's all right. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the eyes. We're going to do a nice outline of our eyes. This is kind of tricky. I'm going to dilute my paint some more. Really dilute it, thin it out as best I can. Okay, and I think I'll go up, just give myself a little break on lines and fill in my bird's hat. How about that? This bird comes together really quick towards the end of our painting, but I'm thinking, well, I've got the black and I could use a break from going in these perfect lines. So maybe I'll just come up and paint in this hat. Just like that. Give myself just a little breather. Okay, here we go. Here we go, guys. All right, let's outline our eyes. And let's break this up so it's not too complicated for us, okay? So let's start in the black of the eye, go up and around, and then down to this point, just right there, okay? And then start on this curve and curve up and around the top of the eye again. So we've kind of done two different sections and it's helped us. And now we got to come around the bottom and close it off right there, okay? All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's do this one. And I'm facing the other way, so I'm going to have to do the opposite. I'm going to go up towards the eye this time. And then down. And around. And then meet it on this end. Okay, pretty good, you guys. That's tricky stuff. I'm just going to clean up my little point where those meet right there. There we go. Okay, now we've got some really fun eyebrows. We're going to start up at the top with this one. And this one's just going to dip down and then meet us over here. Okay. And they're all going to go in that direction here. And we're going to just press and then pull away. Okay. Woo! We can do it. Now the other side, we got to put our pressure going the other way. So, let's see here. Press down, try and get them kind of aligned the same, like that. Then we'll do another one. Pretty good. And then our final one that follows the eye. Guys, I, for one, am proud of myself because that's tricky to do, especially when I can't see. Ooh, I'm loving it. Look, it's coming together, right? It's all coming together. You've got to trust the process. Okay, now we're going to do some circles. They're going to get a little bit smaller as they go. So we'll do one. Just kind of circle. And then we're going to do another one. It's going to get a little smaller, but not super small. Okay. And then one more. This one even smaller. Ta-da! We should give ourselves a high five. I mean, this eye looks a little high-pitched right there, but we're beggars can't be choosers here. We're doing our best. And I think we're doing pretty solid. Doing pretty solid work. Okay, let me check. All right, let's go up into our bird and get a few things done here. First, I'm going to make nice charcoal color. Just some white and black. Okay. We're going to take that and paint in the majority of the body of the bird. Okay, we'll come back to the beak. But let's get the majority in here. This color is also the color of the band that goes across the hat. Just like that. And really trying not to get my palm in paint this time. Paint the back of our bird. First thing I'm going to do when I'm done with this tutorial is figure out what the name of this bird is. It's driving me nuts that I forgot it. Okay, just like that. Now let's lighten it even more. So you can even just take your brush over to the white and just mix in the little bit of charcoal you have on there. And then that color's going in the wing of the bird. Just like so. This is the funkiest looking bird, right? I love it. Okay, rinse that brush out. Get some black so we can get that beak in there. And then just curve it. Just a little curve on the inside like you're making a parentheses. Straighten out our hat band wrap here. And do a little outlining. Little outlining of our bird. I love how chubby I made this bird. It's not really chubby in the movie, but I thought, you know what? I need to make this bird chubby so that little hands can make it. So we had to make it a little chubbier. We had to make our bird just a bit chubby so that we could all paint it successfully. And I actually think it's fun, just a little chubbier bird. Just cleaning it up a little. Blending in, kind of makes a little shadow, but you don't have to. Okay, cute little bird up there on the top. Okay, let's have some fun with our cheetah print in the belly here. We're just going to lighten some of this blue, not too much. And these are really fun marks to make because they don't have to be perfect. They're just almost like little squiggly lines and dots, okay? So you just kind of create your own little print here. Let's see, let's picture that you're making a circle, but you're not enclosing the circle all the way. And you are feeling shaky. And that's kind of how you want these to be done. You want to not have a perfect shape by any means. You don't want them to be perfectly separated from each other or anything like that. You want these little squigglies. You want some little ones here and there. I actually love making any kind of cheetah print because it's so like no pressure. Just kind of make these little lines and dots. And oh, there is a yellow one. My palette is getting so full. I've got yellow and blue mixed together. Okay, let's fix that real quick. I'm not the cleanest painter. You should know that. I make a mess when I paint, but that's part of the fun for me. Let's try this one again, this little guy. There we go. Maybe a little one here and here. Maybe a little guy here. How fun is this cheetah print? Look at that. Just like that, you've got a cheetah print belly. Love it. Okay, let's see. Where should we go next? Let's add some white highlights with our detail brush. These are the highlights that we don't need our flat for. These are little teeny highlights, okay? And these are going to go in the nose and the tongue. These are going to go in the ear. These are going to go up in our bird, hat, and beak. These are going to go little tail, maybe around our feather, our face. Okay, and these are going to be our fun little highlights in our eyes. 2. These fun little smiley faces. I like to add a smiley face in the eyeballs. It's just something that I enjoy doing. We'll do a little tail highlight. That. Cute, cute. I'm going to get some pink now and do something a little crazy. I'm going to add just a little bit of a pink inside here. I just thought that was a fun touch as well. And let's get our black back on our brush. These are when the details are coming in pretty quick, so pause when you need to. We're going to come back up in our bird. Kind of do another outline around our midsection there. And then we've got a circle. Just kind of tricky, but we're just going to do our best, maybe in 2 sections like that. Okay. And then use the bottom of your brush like it's a stamp and circle in the center, because this bird has this very distinct design on its wing right there. Okay. It also has some dots coming down this way. Put those in and you can see it's coming together. Let's dot in the yellow eyes too. We've got 3 of them, right? 3 eyes here. I'm just using the bottom of my brush and dotting those in. And we'll come back with some black in a minute, but very, very specific with the three yellow eyes. Okay, now let's take our white and we're just going to add a little highlight to each of our little dots there. Okay. Now let's take our biggest brush and dot in some reflections of light in our eyes. So I'm going to use the bottom of my brush just like it's a stamp. Get a nice hefty amount on there. And then I'm going to swirl in and then dot. So I've got a big one and a little one. Okay. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Swirl in and then dot. Oh my goodness. Okay, now at this point you can say I love it, wait for the eyes on the bird to dry and then put the whites in. For me, I'm going to keep highlighting. I'm going to add some more light before I sign my name. So to do that, I'm going to get my big flat brush wet and I'm going to squeeze some of the water out, but not all of it. And then I'm going to use some white on the corner of my brush and I'm going to go throughout and I'm just going to highlight. And this isn't always the favorite step, but I like to say this wakes up our painting. So might not be the favorite step, but it's super important to me And so I like to make sure we're waking up our painting. So let's go throughout and let's highlight our painting. And you'll see as we go that that really does start to happen. You'll see that painting really does start to come to life a little bit more with this light. And with that water in your brush, it's just going to really lightly offload it so it's not too heavy, which I think is really important when highlighting. We don't want anything to necessarily be overtaken. We just want to add some light. Go up in these eyes a little bit. Keep adding moisture to your brush when you need it, because it will dry. Sometimes if your highlights are a little much, you can just add some more water to your brush and just brush it through like that. Sometimes happens. Sometimes I'll say, put it on the corner of your brush, and then all of a sudden I have it on half my brush. Then it kind of overtakes a little bit. Sometimes we have to rinse and repeat. Just part of the process. There we go. Do this one above this eye. I really love how all the details in this painting come together though, and really make a beautiful, fun to look at all the different components here. It's a lot of fun. Let's add a little highlight in our ears real quick. You can see that white is definitely adding. I hope you can see that anyway. It's one of my favorite steps. Sometimes we accidentally cover up our outlines, which we don't want to do. Over here to our tail, maybe just change that up a little bit. Like so. Okay, guys, we are just about there. All that's left really is to sign our name and add the black to our bird's eyes. While I'm waiting for it to dry, maybe I'll just come around here, clean some things up. Why not? Why not? Anytime you're waiting on something, clean something else up. Okay, bottom of my brush, black paint, dot in our bird. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. We need to sign our name. We need to own our painting. So let's put some paint on our detail brush, and wherever you want, go ahead and sign your name. Take ownership of your painting because you did this and you probably did a fantastic job. I would love to see it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this painting did K-Pop Demon Hunters justice. Tag us on social media at My Little Paintbrush. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed painting with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.